Hi everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my tutorial channel. It's Daniela here, and today I'm going to talk about agency costs and benefits. In this video, I'm going to first introduce the agency costs of leverage, the agency benefits of leverage. Then I'm going to talk about the agency costs and the trade-off theory. And finally, I'm going to talk about the asymmetric information. First, the agency costs of leverage. Question: what are the agency costs? So, usually in a group of equity holders in a corporation, one is elected to be the management or a major equity holder who makes the investment decision. The management might make investment decisions that benefit the equity holders at the expense of the debt holders. Therefore, the cost arising from these conflicts of the interest is called the agency cost. And there are two types of agency costs: asset substitution and underinvestment. In order to understand the agency cost, we are going to look at an example. So let's look at example 1. Mitran is making an important decision in order to support President Trump throughout the election. She took out a loan of $10,000, which is due at the end of the year, to run a business with the goal of raising a fund for the president. However, Mitran is not good at doing business, though she has a very good heart and loves people. There are two available options to her now. Option 1, run the business as is. In this case, the market value of her business firm will be barely $8,000 at the end of the year, so she would probably face financial distress and economic crisis by the end of the year. Option 2, implement a strategy. In case of successes, the market value of her firm would be $12,000 at the end of the year, and she would have $2,000 to support Trump. Otherwise, it would be only $2,000 for the market value of her firm by the end of the year, and of course, she would be under seriously financial distress even though her intention was positive and good. The two outcomes are equally likely to occur. Part A. Now, for each of the two options above, calculate the following. 1. The expected value of Mitran firm at the end of the year. 2. The expected payouts to the debt holders and equity holders at the end of the year. Part B. Suppose that Mitran is elected to be the management leader by equity holders and make decisions that increase the value of the firm's equity. Which option should she take? Which option should she take? Alright, so now let's look at this summary table. Remember, Mitran had two options. The first option, if she took out $10,000 loan, and then perform option 1, which is the as-is business, then of course by the end of the year she would get only $8,000, and all of these $8,000 would have to be paid to the debt holders. So that's why the debt holder would have $8,000. The equity value, the equity holder has nothing. And the total value of the firm is $8,000. So this is the first option. Now for the second option, we have two outcomes, either success or fail. In case of success, she took out a loan of $10,000, and at the end of the year, she got $12,000. That means like she would have to pay $10,000 to debt holders, and the remaining $2,000 she will have it for the equity holders. Then option 2, if it's a fail, then the firm will be worth only $2,000 by the end of the year, and all of the $2,000 will have to go to the debt holders. The equity holder have nothing, and the total value of the firm is $2,000. And don't forget that success and failure have the same probability to occur. So here, in order to find the expected value of the debt value, we take the average of the success and value in option 2. So at 10,000 plus 2,000 is 12,000. Take half of it, we got 6,000 for expected value of the debt value. So we expect to see $6,000 paid to the debt holders. For equity values, success will give you 2,000, but failure, there's nothing. So the average should be 1,000. So the expected value of the equity value should be 1,000 for option 2. And the total value here is also the average between success and failure. So we got 7,000 expected value. See, 7,000. And we see that the expected value of the firm value in option 2 is 7,000, while it is 8,000 in option 1. You see that? So here, if Mitran is elected by the equity holders, the group of equity holders, and if she makes decision to benefit the equity holders, that means it should be option 2 in order to gain $2,000 in equity holders values. Then the payout at the end of the year should be 1,000. See the 1,000 at the expected value. So the payout to the equity is expected to be $1,000. This is an excess subtraction problem, excessive risk-taking problem, and Mitran should choose option 2, which makes a payout of $1,000 to equity holders. Right here, $1,000 payouts expectedly to equity holders. See that? Now, let's look at the last example, but we are going to add some more assumption. Example 2 is about the debt overhang problem. So we reconsider example 1 with the following assumption for option 2. The first assumption, the risk-free interest rate of option 2 is 0% because this is risk-free, and the payouts will be $2,000 at the end of the year. The second assumption is Mitran has no cash on hand to make the investment now. She is neither able to issue new debt or equity, and the only way to raise funds is to have the existing equity holders contribute $1,000 required for the project. Now calculate the following. The net present value of the project, the net present value of option 2, and suppose Mitran is elected to be the management, the leader by the equity holders, and make decision to increase the value of the firm equity. Which option should she take? Alright, so now let's take a look at the net present value of the project. Here, she took $1,000 from existing equity holders, $1,000, and then at the end of the year, she's got $2,000 payout to the equity holders. So like she have to return 1,000 and she got 2,000. So the net present value is 1,000. Here we use risk-free rate 0%. Then for part B, net present value option 2 is negative 1,000 plus 0, which is equal to net $1,000. So Mitran should take the option 1 and forego option 2. Note that when a firm is facing a financial distress, the management should not finance a new positive net present value project. And finally, estimate the debt overhang. The equity holders benefit from a new investment only if the net present value over the investment value is greater than B beta D times D over beta E times E. Here beta D is beta of debt, beta E is beta of equity, D is debt, E is equity, and I is the amount of equity holders' investment in a new investment with a similar risk to the firm NPV. So let's consider this example. Consider the following two firms. The first firm, the equity beta is 1.24, the debt beta is 0.2, and the debt to equity ratio is 0.5. For second firm, the equity beta is 1.67, and the debt beta is 0.5, and the debt to equity ratio is 0.9. Estimate the minimum NPV such that a new investment of 10 million will benefit the equity holders. So here, just follow the formula. For the first firm, NPV over 10 is greater than 0.2 over 1.24 times 0.5, which is equal to 0.0806. So the net present value is greater than 0.806. And for the second firm, NPV over 10 is greater than 0.5 over 1.67 times 0.9, which is 0.2695. So the NPV should be greater than 2.695. Way to reduce the agency cost of leverage. There are two types of methods to reduce the agency cost of leverage: debt maturity and debt governance. In debt maturity, the magnitude of agency cost depends on the maturity debt. The longer the maturity is, the higher the agency costs are. This is because a longer maturity will give the management changes to take advantage of the debt holders. In order to reduce the agency cost, short-term debt may be used. Debt governance. The creditors may restrict the action of management. They may limit the amount of new debt the firm can take on. These restrictions are known as debt governance. So there are two ways to reduce the agency cost. One is by implementing short-term debt, and the other way is make restriction on the amount of debt issued. Agency benefits of leverage. The benefits of the agency benefits of leverage is the concentration of the ownership, reduction of wasteful investment. Leverage may make management more committed. Here, I don't go to detail about these because this is just I just want to introduce about agency benefits. But if you want to get to know more about concentration or reduction, these things you can always read, some sources about this. I just list here the three benefits of leverage. First, concentration of ownership, reduction of wasteful investment. Leverage may make the management more committed. Now, the agency cost and trade-off theory. The leverage value of the firm is equal to the unlevered value of the firm plus the present value of interest tax shield. Subtract the present value of financial distress costs. Subtract the present value of agency cost of debts and plus the present value of agency benefits of debts. Here, the sum, the gap between the sum of present value of interest tax shield and agency benefits of debt with the sum of present value of financial distress costs and present value of agency cost of debts is called the trade-off. So we can actually ignore VU. So the last four terms will make the trade-off amount. And that's how we have the trade-off theory problem. Asymmetric information. Usually we assume that everybody involved had the same information about the firm. However, in reality, this assumption does not hold. Like, usually the managers tend to know about the company, the firm, better than the outside investors. This phenomenon is called the asymmetric information would affect the capital structures. For example, if the manager tell the outside investors that that the security that he's going to issue is a good investment, the outside investors not going to trust him, because we all know that the managers are trying to earn more benefits for his firm. So the outside investors know that these statements are not trustable, is not trustworthy. So this phenomenon is called the asymmetric information which affect the capital structure. Leverage as a credible signal. Claims in one's self-interest are credible only if they are supported by action. That would be too costly tech if the claim was untrue. So that's it for this lesson. This lesson is the last lesson in capital structures, and next video I might include some examples, some practice problems. So see you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.